Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll continue learning regular expressions in PowerShell. In the last example, we looked at how to match a phone number, US style phone number. In this video, we're going to start with anchors. You might be thinking, what are anchors? So anchors are basically your start and finish. They allow you to cause a match to succeed or fail based on the position, right? So we saw the live example of that in the end of last lesson, so I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to take a simple example. I'm just going to take a word called fishing, and I'm going to try and match anything that's starting with fishing. The caret symbol there, it denotes the start of something, and it has to start with fish, and the dollar is the ending. So we used the dollar in the last example, so this is going to fail, right? If I get rid of the dollar, it's going to work, right? It's matching something starting with fish. And same thing, if I get rid of that and just say ng, right? That's what it's ending in, dollar. That's going to be true because it's ending in ng. Anchors are really important. Sometimes you'd be matching random patterns because you don't have positions properly set up, or your anchor operators properly set up. Now let's move on. I used the backslash a few times, but backslash in general in regular expression is called the escape character. So we have some reserved characters. I'm just going to put them out here now. We already used some of these. Now brackets were used to, well, square brackets were used to specify a range. We haven't used parentheses yet, so we'll do that. The dot operator is a operator to match any character. So any non-word character, basically dot matches anything that's not a alphabet, uppercase or lowercase. Backslash is used for escaping. So if you want to look for something literal, you can escape that using the backslash. Same like the way you would do it in Bash or PowerShell when you want to escape quotes. Caret is used to specify the start. It's an anchor character. We just talked about that. And so is dollar. Dollar denotes end of a expression. We looked at question mark, asterisk, and plus, which is basically your repetition operators, and we looked at that in detail in the last video. And the others, we'll deal with them as we come across. So these are all the special or reserved characters within the regex space. So let's look at some of the ones that we just saw, the special characters that we just saw. I'm just going to paste a string. So this is very common in Windows logs. So it says the last logged on user was, and then the domain name backslash username, and then I'm trying to match anything, any character, any number of times, right? And then was is that word was, and then a space. That's what that denotes. Now all of that is just one group. So this group represents the characters up to this point, and then I've got another group which matches anything any number of times. So this should work. So that's a true. We know what dot is, what dot operator is, and what the plus operator is. So we just used groups to match characters, right? Let me see if I can find another example. Now we're going to talk about an important concept. Now this is one string, and we've divided them into two groups. We'll talk about how to access them, right? Grouping is a concept in PowerShell. Basically it constructs a few strings out of one single string. I can put more parentheses to group them into other strings. All of these are called sub-expressions. So basically let's quickly see what we've got here. If I use the variable dollar matches, I've got that wrong, dollar matches. Now you see we passed in this string, and it's split them into that one, which is denoted by that, and then the rest of the string, which is denoted by that. So now, like any array, I could use that to get what I have, or that to get the first string, and that to get the second one. Now you see where I'm going with this. There's a lot of power in being able to do this, right? And if I print, well, while I can do this way, I could also do $matches.0, .1 and .2. So the reason why I'm able to do this is because $matches is not a list, it's a hash table. Remember the video, one of the last videos we did before we started regular expressions was hash tables. So the reason why we did that before is because we know we're going to have to deal with hash tables here. I'm gonna do something else. I'm just gonna create a variable called $val and put this string in. I'm gonna also try and split it up using proper regular expressions. So I've already got $val, it's got that string. I'm just gonna clear the space, and I can say $val and match, right? The way we'd like to, alright, let me print that so we can have a look. $val, and I'm gonna match that with now this is basically, it's got this long string, and then it's got username backslash domain name backslash username. So I want to be able to split this up properly. So what I'll do is I'm going to create a group, and then I'm going to do a backslash to escape the backslash, and then create another group. In this group I'm just going to use a question mark, and I'm just going to call this user because that's the username, and I'm going to do a dot plus, right? And in this group I'm just going to put everything $plus, which adds everything here, and before that I'm going to give it a name and call it domain. I've got to get double quotes. So now domain's gonna have everything, and if I do $matches, so see, domain's gonna have everything, and user is gonna have just the username. So this is how you could also split it up. I could just get domain to get, okay, we could split this up further. Instead of just that, I could just say was domain. And if I do $matches now, domain will have Contoso, user will have the username, and it's only the string I've matched is was Contoso backslash username. That's how I was able to separate this. And you can use these custom key values to separate different content of the string and give them the names based on what I've given them here. That's beautiful. There is a few other escape characters that I want to talk about. One of them is /t, which denotes tabs, \n for new line, and \r for carriage return, basically the enter sign, the enter mark. So these are the various escape characters and grouping that we could do, and giving them names basically. Yeah, so that covers grouping and captures. We're only left with substitutions. Let's quickly have a look at that one simple example on substitutions, and then we should be good. So I'm just going to take a name, and I'm going to try and replace something from that name. So I'm going to take John Smith, and I want to replace something with something else, basically create an email address. Right, so what I'm doing here is I've got John D. Smith, so I've got a word, right, and then a space, and then another group with another word, and then I've got a dot, which I'm escaping with a backslash, and I've got, so yeah, you see it took the name, and it separated, it grouped the name into 3 pieces, which is John D. Smith with the full stop, and it put $1, $2, $3 at Contoso.com, which is, you could do this with any name, really. I could do it with my name. I'm just gonna put, gotta have a full stop. So for this to work without having the full stop, I could do question mark, and I could do the full stop removed, and it'll work. So what happened there is, in this case, I missed the full stop in the name. There's no C dot, but let's say you want to make that optional, you have to put a question mark in front of it, and then that will make that expression work. So it's very intuitive, it's very easy if you know. Well, you have to practice, and if you know what does what, it's very simple. I'm gonna paste a similar example of a username. So I've got Contoso Administrator, and I'm just gonna replace that with the first letter. So it's gonna compare letters until it gets to backslash, and then it's gonna compare the next letter, the next word, and give it a name, and it's gonna replace that with Fabricam and then user. So there we go. Instead of Contoso, we now got Fabricam. Right, so very intuitive, and just if you practice, it's very easy to use regular expressions. If you want to get into any programming or system admin jobs, it's very important that you know regular expressions. At some point, every system admin will need to use regular expressions, so good luck learning. Go ahead and practice as much as you can.
You are awesome. Now, to get your daily dosage of IT programming and automation, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Spread the word using the share button. Thank you.